Welcome into Metabolic Coaching with Dr. Justin Anderson. Cut the killer carbs right here on AM 580. Of course, along the way, if you have any questions, 745-5800. Of course, text in as well, 806-745-5800. Of course, you can always check us out on the website, metaboliccoaching.net, or Cut the Killer Carbs on Facebook. Good morning once again to Dr. Justin Anderson. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Wade. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Did you have a good weekend? Everything go well?
Yeah, I think everything went great for me. We enjoyed our holiday. We got to see family. Did a little bit of traveling. Didn't get caught in any gas lines.
No,
we were
that's
fine.
always good.
Yeah.
No gas line. I didn't either because I chose not to participate in the fake craziness on getting gas.
Yeah.
The fake scare, the faux scare. I chose not to participate, right? And we all have choices, and that's what makes this show kind of cool, because I chose to eat a lot of carbs over the weekend, and I'm kicking myself for it, because I was talking about earlier that I really enjoyed the chicken fried steak at Cattle Baron restaurant, right? And it's a great chicken fry with extra gravy. And as I ate that, you kept popping up in my mind the whole time, going, "Now wait. That's probably, if you want to order a steak off the menu, that's great. But the chicken fry,
The thing is that if you get once people get to feeling better, once they get off the grain, they get off the wheat, they get off all the carbohydrates, and they really get to feeling better, and they realize that their joints feel better, and they have more energy, and things that were bothering, they're not as bloated, then you make a mistake like getting the chicken fry with the gravy. You really feel horrible for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's right.
So
you've talked about that a lot,
yeah.
where you're actually in ketosis. Mm-hmm. And you're rolling along, and you go, "Man, I'm feeling great, clear thinking. I feel, and then I'll just have a couple of slices of this, or a burger with the bun, and then bam, an hour later you feel like crap."
Yeah, and they'll text me or email me or and tell me the story and say, "Oh, I feel horrible." One of the stories on one of the videos that's on the website at metaboliccoaching.net. Is Helena's video, and she had cut out the grains, cut out the carbohydrates, improved her blood sugar. She did it for diabetes. She wanted her diabetes to get better, and the blood sugars got better. They got better quickly, and after doing that for a couple of months, she and her husband went out on a date night, and she had at the restaurant, she had a roll and the potatoes and something else, and so it was kind of wheat and carbs. And by the time she finished the meal, her shoulder, the arthritis in her shoulder, her arthritic shoulder, was acting up so bad, and she just felt bad, and her sugar was high, I'm sure. And so they had to cut their date night short, and they didn't go see the movie. Instead, they just went home. And so one of the big focuses of the program is to cut the killer carbs, and I call them killer carbs because they're the carbohydrates, the refined carbohydrates and processed carbohydrates in the diet that make us sick and give us problems like inflammation, arthritis, gastrointestinal problems, irritable bowel syndrome, all these sort of things. Diabetes, high blood pressure, they mess up your triglycerides, they mess up your HDL cholesterol. And so those killer carbs, they're bread and wheat, and basically anything that's made out of wheat, whether it's bread or pasta, crackers, etc., hamburger buns, the breading that's on chicken nuggets and on chicken fried steak.
No.
Also,
no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And next come the sugars, and the sugars include, of course, table sugar and high fructose corn syrup, but they also include all natural 100% organic sugars like honey and maple syrup, because whether it's table sugar or it's honey or maple syrup, it contains fructose, and the fructose is very inflammatory. Also, the fructose gets turned into triglycerides, and it goes straight to fat storage. So your grandma was right when your grandma said, don't eat the sugar is going to make you fat. She was 100% right.
Let me ask you a question, because I was at the grocery store, of course, and we shop, a lot our choices now, what we're purchasing at the grocery store, are way different, vastly different
I think you would
than
eat,
what we did a year ago.
if you were permanently adhered at the hip to your health coach.
I know.
I think you would do great.
I would. You're right. I mean,
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Yeah.
she's. I mean, she does this, and she's, okay. But again, it's okay. So she weighs 115 pounds. I'm gonna say it on there. So she's 115 pounds, 5'3", 115, and that's way in range. She's like, well, when you came back from Iraq, I weighed 106, and I wanna. So here's what she's doing. She does all that, what we're talking about, and she's down now to, I think, 107. And almost at what she perceives as an ideal body weight. I think
Right.
it's outrageous, but nevertheless, I'll just leave it at that. But she does, and so she doesn't eat any of this stuff anymore. She just totally kicked it to the curb. Whereas me, I'm still on the fence, right? I've done better, but I need to do better. But for example, therefore, take a bottle of ketchup, just a bottle of ketchup, right?
Mhm.
There for a long time, like say 2 years ago, I knew that high fructose corn syrup was inherently bad for you, and so I would always look for
Baby
that.
steps. Wade is taking baby steps.
Yeah, so I would look for that ketchup that didn't have high fructose corn syrup in it. So you turn the ketchup bottle around, if it has high fructose, no, not that one, and you put it back on the shelf. Well, but then now, so I'm at the grocery store and I find a ketchup, and it just says on there organic cane sugar. And I think, well, that's better than the high fructose corn syrup.
The thing is that black widow spider venom is 100% organic, and it'll still kill you.
I knew you were
Just
gonna
like
say
one, just like 100% all organic cane sugar.
Yeah.
It's
So which one is worse? So I mean, or is it all bad? I mean, so tomato ketchups, if they have sugar in there, see, that's just corn syrup made for sugar, which is bad. But sugar is also bad, right?
yes.
I mean,
yeah. So I'll tell you.
or is there different levels of badness?
There are different levels of badness, but I wouldn't compromise, because you'll compromise yourself out of making any progress.
Okay.
Because what people want is they want to feel better, they want to lose some weight, they want to be healthier, have more energy. And so if they make the compromise and say, well, I'm not going to buy the high fructose corn syrup ketchup, I'm going to buy it with organic sugar. Because I ate organic for years. I would get organic whole grain bread, and we bought the organic cane sugar and all that sort of stuff. And guess what? I got fat. I got fatter and fatter and fatter eating organic junk all the time. So whether it's organic or not, it's still junk. And so people will, one of the things people can use to kind of make choices is the glycemic index. And a white potato, a baked russet potato, has a glycemic index of 111. A sweet potato has a glycemic index of 73.
Mm-hmm.
So a sweet potato is a quote unquote better choice. But if you want to really lose weight, if you want to make some progress, then making that sort of compromise isn't going to get you there. You can eat green leafy vegetables, which have a glycemic index of 10 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
You can eat, and glycemic index measures how much something raises your blood sugar, and so the less blood sugar raised, the better. You can eat meat, you can eat fat, because it raises your blood sugar relatively little. And so, yeah, and that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today, was some things to add to the diet. Because a lot of it's about cutting, cut the sugar, cut the wheat, cut the potatoes. But I mean, so what do you add? A straightforward, easy thing to add is green leafy vegetables, because I found that with people, clients who come and take the program, that adding more green leafy vegetables like chard, Swiss chard, romaine lettuce, iceberg lettuce, mustard greens, turnip greens, collard greens.
I like spinach.
Adding all of those greens,
Mm-hmm.
that helps. That helps them with their weight loss. So that's one thing to add. It's got a lot of vitamins, a lot of vitamins in them, and relatively few calories. And so I think your grandma was kind of, I don't know if grandma really ate greens.
Oh yeah, they used to eat stuff like lamb's quarters and things like. And I always thought that was weeds, but my grandmother thought that was the greatest
Yeah.
thing since sliced bread. And I said, "Really, Grandma?" I said, "This is." So I went out and cut her a whole bunch of what they call lamb's quarters.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the Russian milk thistle. I mean, really, to me, it looks like a weed. But she would boil this stuff off and then eat them. I mean, I thought,
So
weird, but I mean, whatever.
the greens are helpful, and but they're helpful because they're low glycemic plants
Mm-hmm.
you can eat. Now, something else that you should add really is grass-fed butter,
Yeah.
and because you're going to eat butter anyway, and adding, first of all, butter is it's one of the safest foods that you can eat on a low carbohydrate diet, because butter is not going to raise your sugar. It's fat. It's not going to raise your sugar. It's not going to raise your insulin levels. So it will help you not gain weight because it's a fat, first of all. And second of all, grass-fed butter, the good thing with grass-fed, it's got more vitamin D in it. It's got more vitamin A in it. It's got more vitamin K1 in it. And it has more omega-3s in it. And so your doctor probably on a routine basis checks your vitamin D level once a year. Most people are low in vitamin D. He doesn't check your vitamin A level. He doesn't check your omega-3 levels, but most people are deficient in those things too. And the grass-fed butter is good because they've told us, not they, I mean, but for years we've been told that eat your carrots because carrots are going to have the vitamin A in it.
Good for your eyes.
Yeah, good for your eyes. But carrots don't actually have retinol. They don't actually have animal-based vitamin A. They have beta-carotene. And so your body has to take this plant-based vitamin A and cut the plant-based vitamin A in the middle, cut it off with an enzymatic reaction to create retinol. So it has to take the plant vitamin A to make animal vitamin A, and you can only use the animal vitamin A because you happen to be an animal. Well, the best way to get animal vitamin A is from an animal source, and that would be grass-fed butter. It's a really easy addition. Add grass-fed butter instead of your whatever cooking, especially if you're using cooking oils. You can use grass-fed butter instead.
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're a doctor of eyes, ophthalmologist, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Would this diet help with preventing glaucoma? You know, things like that. I mean, because that gets kind of wild, doesn't it? Because you do this surgery all the time.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I just don't know. And my experience as being a physician, my experience in medicine is that the more that I learn, the more I realize that we don't really know.
That's pretty profound.
So, one of the most, not intriguing, but well, it is intriguing. There's a disease called macular degeneration.
Mm-hmm.
And people in macular degeneration, they get these deposits in their retina, and the body can't get rid of them. So the deposits, they build up in the retina, and it slowly steals their sight. At some point, the deposits can get bad enough that new blood vessels grow through there, and they start bleeding. And so then they lose their vision rapidly. I've tried to look this up. They don't exactly know what the deposits are. There's not like a really good chemical analysis to say what the deposits are, where they come from. They have theories of where they come from, but I imagine that it's probably related to our increase in the vegetable oils and the hydrogenated vegetable oils, because your body just can't process those hydrogenated vegetable oils, especially to get rid of them. They get stuck in cell membranes, and it's hard to get them out. And so I would imagine that a low carbohydrate, high fat diet that's high in healthy fats from animal sources, especially grass-fed animals, would be good for macular degeneration. But I don't have any actual proof for that. That's something that it makes sense, because the deposits that build up in the retina, they're like a type of fat
Mm-hmm.
that builds up that your body can't get rid of for whatever reason.
And is there any surgical, because you deal with this every day as a surgeon, but from macular degeneration standpoint, is that a surgical? Can you do anything for those individuals or no? I mean, is there
No, well, there's not a surgery per se that helps. They've tried different surgeries. They don't necessarily help. What they do, if you have the kind of macular degeneration where the deposits are building up, that's called dry macular degeneration, and they put you on vitamins. And these vitamins help to decrease the chance that you're going to go on to bleed. They decrease the chance of bleeding in the future, and they've been shown to do that in clinical studies. If you have wet macular degeneration, which means there is bleeding, wet means bleeding, then at present what they do is they inject the eyes with a medication that stops the bleeding. But it's not surgical, it's an injection. It's not a long-term fix because the injections have to be repeated monthly or every 6 weeks for a period of time.
I just think what you're talking about, though, Doctor, that you've been talking about for weeks on this show, is that our body is our own chemistry set, and what we feed it makes all the difference in the world in the sense of all these other problems. When we talk about whether it's macular degeneration or rheumatoid arthritis, any inflammation, because that's an inflammation process, right? I mean, if we really get down to the nuts and bolts of it.
Probably.
And when our diet changes and it really inhibits inflammation throughout the body, that could include the eyes as well as the joints and everything, I would think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point. I guess that's what I was driving at.
So one of the things with macular degeneration is they treat it with vitamins. They give you a vitamin supplement. I would say it would be a great idea to get your vitamins from your food. And one of the best ways to do that would be to add liver, to have liver, like beef liver, once a week. Because beef liver once a week is going to give you vitamin A, vitamin D, copper, iron. It's going to give you a whole selection of vitamins and minerals that your body needs to run. And the thing is that cultures used to do this, right? My mom, when she was growing up, every week, once a week, they had liver. And every day, they had a teaspoon of cod liver oil. So it was cod liver oil once a day, beef liver once a week. And that was and all of their dairy that they had was grass-fed dairy. It wasn't grain-fed dairy. And, that generation, that was a very healthy generation. They kind of grew up very healthy for kind of 20 years, or 18, 20 years on the farm. And then they have another 50 years to kind of go the other way, eating a regular American diet.
Mm-hmm.
So adding liver once a week, which is a traditional thing to do, is a great addition. But it's kind of like taking a big multivitamin once a week.
It really is, because it's highly absorbable.
That's exactly right. Because see, so there's vitamin A in the liver, and it's animal-based vitamin A, so you can use it right away. There's going to be vitamin D. There's going to be usable copper. All of those sort of things are going to be in the liver. You can use them right away.
Yeah, we've done a lot of shows on the fact that people have this misconception that, well, if I just take a Centrum vitamin or something, I'm going to cover what I don't get. And that doesn't work like that.
You're right. It doesn't work like that. If it worked like that, man, we would be amazingly healthy. Wouldn't the American people would be an amazingly healthy people if you could just make it all happen with a multivitamin once a day. Teaspoon of cod liver oil. Mm-hmm. That's perfectly reasonable also. You can look, if you want to look at what kind or type of cod liver oil to buy, you can just Google Weston A. Price Foundation cod liver oil, and they'll have it listed on there. Different recommendations by chemical analysis.
A lot to unpack.
Yeah,
there.
I mean there are a lot of diets that work that way. There's one diet. It's called the Sugar Addicts Diet, and it's a good book. And basically, you do some fasting, you eat low carb, and then you give yourself a reward meal once a day.
I've been guilty of this.
So there are diets that work like that.
Carb cycling, we've talked about that.
One of the things, carb cycling is different. Carb cycling is 1 day a week. You do add some carbohydrates back, but you add something like a cup of sweet potato or a cup of white rice, something that's a very clean carb. You do that once a week. And there is something to adding back some carbs that works well for some people. Doing carb cycling, adding the rice back or the sweet potato back 1 day a week is especially good for women or women with thyroid disease. But one area where I think Atkins kind of got it wrong was that, Atkins was very low carb. You went down to 20 net carbs. You stayed there for a while and you worked your way up until you found the point to where you didn't lose your weight anymore, and then you kind of worked your way back down on how many net carbs you could have. He did emphasize lots of green leafy vegetables. He was right on that, but one place where I think he was wrong was that adding back some of these addictive foods does restart addictive tendencies. And whether it's you say, well, today's my reward day, and so I'm going to eat one bagel, and then you've eaten 6, or you're going to eat one cookie, and then you've eaten the whole package. And so
I think that's the problem, right? You've used the analogy of the cigarette smoker. You don't say to a person quitting tobacco, for example, to say, okay, well, you're going to be nicotine free for 6 days of the week. Then that 7th day, you can nicotine up all you want.
Right. Because
you'll just be right back to smoking every day eventually.
And so, but at the same time, to his point, is that if for everybody out there, whether you're a raw vegan or you're a meatitarian, or you eat chicken fried steak once a day, whatever, if you found something that's really working for you, and your weight's good, and your blood pressure's good, and your triglycerides good, and you're not diabetic, and you feel energy, and you feel healthy, then I'll tell you stick with that, because I'm here to coach people who
have tried everything,
who haven't found something that works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you haven't found something that works for you, cutting out the carbohydrates and adding a very high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate diet is something that's definitely worth a try.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll take a quick break, listen to this word, and then we'll come right back with more here on the show. Stick around if you got a question, 745-5800. Be right back. Welcome back in to Cut the Killer Carbs right here on AM 580 with Dr. Justin Anderson. MetabolicCoaching.net, check it out right there. Or Cut the Killer Carbs on Facebook. Phone lines are always open, 745-5800. All right, so question was, this weekend as I'm watching some of the news channels, as I always like to watch the news and stay informed, you see the commercials come on, like Jenny Craig. Oh, you can have all these great, delicious meals, and you're not going to be deprived of anything. And, of course, as the commercial's playing, it's showing,
rice
a plate full of pasta
right.
and... and I'm going, man, all that pasta and stuff in there, and we talk about how that just jacks your insulin to the wall,
mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking to myself, that probably wouldn't work for me too good. But anyway, there are people that can do well on those kinds of programs, maybe because it's a calorie restriction, basically.
That's right, it's calorie restriction. And so you can lose weight with calorie restriction. There's a couple of problems. I've lost weight from calorie restriction.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that before. But the problem was I was hungry and miserable all the time. And
yeah.
So basically when I was a junior in high school, I started doing a lot of running, long distance running. I wanted to lose some weight, and I restricted calories. And yeah, man, I lost weight. I went from 180 to 160 on that diet. But I remember in my stomach there was an empty pit. I felt like I was hungry, like I was starving all the time. I didn't feel like I had good energy. I didn't feel great. I feel better now than I felt when I was a junior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember after that, as I gained weight kind of slowly over the years, I thought, well, I know how to lose weight. You lose weight by starving and feeling hungry all the time. I knew that because, that's what those low-calorie meals and low-calorie meal plans do. Doing a very low-carbohydrate diet is 100% different because you don't feel starving, you feel satisfied. You don't have an empty pit in your stomach all the time. You get to eat things like eggs and butter and bacon and double cheeseburgers with bacon without the bun. You can eat a meat burrito from Taco Villa, no tortilla. In addition to that, you eat green leafy vegetables, you eat plenty of butter, you eat plenty of coconut oil. So you can lose weight by feeling low energy and feeling like you're starving. or you can lose weight and have high energy and feel like you're full and you're completely satisfied. And so I choose the second path.
Yeah, interesting point. All right, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Had to pick up my phone.
Huh?
Hey, Wade, it's Anthony.
Yes?
Y'all doing good?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, when he mentioned liver about 30 minutes ago, all of a sudden that pit in my stomach started churning like a lot of other people. Back in the old days, in the 60s, where the only health supplements you could get were out of people's garages, that guy on 24th and Avenue Q, actually Bob Beal, took over a shop there, and then when he moved his waterbed shop, our first health food company was in the banquet room of Orlando's. And then that was moved over to the post office at like 24th in Boston or something like that. But I hated liver, always have. But the doctor said, you need liver. And he said, there's a place, I think it's called Alternative, and go get some desiccated beef liver from Argentina. And it was a pill,
Yep.
and it smelled like liver, but I drank it, and wow, I can't believe how well it worked.
You're
And
exactly right.
I haven't seen it in years. Is that stuff still available?
It is still available. You can find desiccated beef liver from Argentina. You can find it. I want to make sure he can hear, but you can find it online from Amazon. Desiccated beef liver from Argentina. Also, if you go to the Natural Health Market, which is on 82nd and Slide,
Quaker.
82nd and Quaker, yeah, 82nd and Quaker, you can find it there. So, yeah, that's, and like he was saying, well, 50 years ago they told me I needed liver. Yeah, exactly. And back then it wasn't all these health supplements. Take 1,000 capsules, take 1,000 pills. So yeah, I mean, you can get your liver either by eating beef liver yourself once a week, or you can take the capsules, take them every day, and that's a great way to get your vitamins.
Desiccated beef liver.
Yep.
Available at the Natural Health Market. Yeah, they do have that in capsule form. And that, I mean, it's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get it.
Because you shouldn't, whatever you're doing, if you're trying to force yourself to eat something that you hate because you think it's healthy, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work. So the desiccated beef liver, that's a good way to do it, rather than eat it if you absolutely hate liver. So we talked about cod liver oil. The cod liver oil, basically, now cod liver oil doesn't really taste fishy. It's
No.
It's got omega-3s. It's got vitamin. Some of it has all the vitamin D taken out, but you're taking the cod liver oil for the vitamin A. Cod liver oil. Also, there's a lot of vitamin K2 in cod liver oil. You need that for healthy bones. Vitamin K2 helps to tell the calcium in your body where to go to your bones instead of going to your arteries, and so that's really important. And there's some Dutch researchers that have said they think that heart disease will be declared a vitamin K2 deficiency in the next 10 years. So vitamin K2 is important. It's in the cod liver oil. Grass-fed butter, that's what you add. Also, once a week you should eat seafood. You should eat something like wild-caught Alaskan salmon. Once a week, because you can take an omega-3 supplement. You can take like a fish oil supplement once a day. But if you get your fish oil from the fatty fish itself, it's fresher. And you don't want farm-raised fish. Farm-raised fish is high in PCBs, and they're fed GMO corn, and it's got Roundup residue on it. And the farm-raised fish are kept in these pens where they're too close, and they get infested with sea lice. And so farm-raised fish tend to be very sick. And I've had several clients who, when they eat farm-raised fish, they swell up like a balloon.
Yeah.
Just from all the toxins in the farm-raised fish. So get wild-caught Alaskan salmon. Add that to your diet once a week. You got something?
Yeah, a text coming in saying, just started the 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss. Has the doctor read or heard anything about it? The 4-Hour Body.
I haven't read a lot of Tim Ferriss stuff. I've read some of it. He's got the 4-Hour Work Week, the 4-Hour Body, the 4-Hour. And so Tim Ferriss, his basic approach to everything is to get your maximum amount of benefit in the minimum amount of time. So I haven't read the book. I don't know, but I'm familiar with some of his stuff.
I wonder if that's part of the, 4 hour. I wonder if that has to do with intermittent fasting of some sort, where you could try to get all your calories in a 4 hour, 6 hour window daily, and the rest of the time don't eat anything. Just drink water and stuff.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I know that that is kind of a intermittent fasting. I think is another approach to this that is really worthwhile to explore. I find it very easy for me.
I'm fasting every Tuesday when I come to this show.
Oh, for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
24 hours, dude.
See,
Tuesday, Thursday fast.
I don't have any problem with not eating breakfast and lunch and just having a dinner pretty much anytime. I'm thinking about making that my deal for 7 days a week. I'm thinking about that.
7 days a week. Yeah. Well, so
No, I mean,
let me tell you, that's another approach too.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
one of the
I get all my calories at dinner.
well, I'll give you a warning.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I have had a couple of clients come to the program. They only eat one meal a day, and so it's a 24-hour fast every single day.
Yeah.
But and they gain weight if that one meal a day is all carbohydrates, lots of rice, lots of pasta, lots of sugar. They'll gain weight, mess up their thyroid, get thyroid disease, get sick and unhealthy, and feel horrible. But I do have some clients like Dr. Bailey in Leveland. He's not a client, but he does very low carbohydrate. And Dr. Bailey in Leveland, he eats one meal a day. But that one meal a day is always a low carbohydrate meal. Also, that's something that Gail came in and she was on the show that she does. She does one meal a day. It's very low carbohydrate. I'll tell you one other thing that you can do. We talked about things to add. We got butter, cod liver oil, liver. Make your own salad dressing.
Yeah. My wife
Make your
does
own
that.
salad dressing.
That's big.
You can make it with MCT oil. MCT oil is medium chain triglyceride oil, and the MCTs, your body burns MCT. It's a fat your body burns, it doesn't store it. Or you can make them with extra virgin olive oil. But whether you use extra virgin olive oil or MCT oil, the benefit is you're going to be getting rid of the omega-6 oils, which are inflammatory. They go rancid easy. They're heavily processed. They're often GMO. They can contain Roundup residues. And so you get rid of the soybean oil, the cottonseed oil, those other kind of industrial oils, and replace it with something healthy like olive oil or MCT oil. And you can make your own mayonnaise. We make our own mayonnaise all the time. That way we have mayonnaise that doesn't have, it's made from olive oil and doesn't have any sugar in it.
Okay. Another text coming in saying, I've lost 50, 60 pounds since the first of the year by going low carb, high fat.
Congratulations.
Also with the help of a diet pill called Finagrin for 3 months, all the while doing low carbohydrate, high fat, and not just eating willy-nilly. I'm no longer taking the pill. What should I expect? I guess, what's Finagrin, I guess? Is that the way you pronounce that?
Probably phentermine.
Yeah, well, spelled Phenegren is the way that the texter spelled it.
To tell you the truth, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. How much of your weight loss is from the low carb, high fat? How much of your weight loss is from the medication? I will tell you that weight loss plateaus. Coming to a part where you plateau and your weight doesn't change for 3 weeks or a month. I mean, that happens. That's to be expected. And if you reach a plateau, that means it's time to change something. And so you change something. You can do carb cycling, which is add a cup of rice once a week, or you can add intermittent fasting. A 24-hour fast 2 days a week usually helps to restart weight loss. So I'll just tell you that if you get there and you get to a plateau, don't be discouraged. You've already lost 50, 60 pounds. And just keep working it and add a different strategy if necessary.
Okay. All right. Good question. We got a couple of minutes left. What else would you like to mention today, Doctor, before we let you out of here? Again, a lot of good techniques. Again, go to the website. There's a lot of places people can go and get free information
Yeah.
on what to do.
On the website at metaboliccoaching.net, you can just click on the free content tab. And if you click on the free content tab, there are written instructions. There are links to an online seminar that you can watch. It's completely free. There are even links to the audio tracks that work kind of like hypnosis. They're subconscious reprogramming audio tracks, and it's all right there. Also, there are links to several books. And I don't have every book I've ever read, listed up on the website, but some of the best ones that really explain that fat is not your enemy. Eating fat is your friend. Even the fat on your body is not your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Once you can switch your metabolism over to where you're burning your own fat, you feel great. If you can just get there, and you do that by cutting the carbs out of the diet. So there's tons of free information on metaboliccoaching.net. If you want to join us for a course live here in Lubbock, just call 806-448-0322. Give me a call. We can set you up. We'll be doing a course this Friday. And I've had some people who are just starting off, and so they come to the course that, they want to start the diet. Some people like this person who just texted in, who maybe they've lost 50 pounds, but they kind of plateaued. And so now they need some strategies because they don't want to get back on the medication. And so I work through and coach them for 3 months with those strategies to help get them back on track and help them lose the weight.
Okay, one other quick text before we go. It says, I have, she writes in, I have no thyroid and lost 35 pounds on low carb from mid-January to now. It's a
Congratulations, man.
It's a lifestyle, however, but my hair is a lot thinner. Will it eventually grow back thicker? Once her body, I guess, adjusts, will her hair become better because she was low carb, high fat diet? I don't know. I haven't heard that one. What about you?
I don't think it's a low carb, high fat diet. The thinning hair is most likely. I mean, I can't diagnose over the phone, but the thinning hair is most likely due to the thyroid not quite being replaced adequately, because having thinning hair is a sign of low thyroid function. Mm-hmm. So,
she said she has no thyroid.
So yeah, so she has no thyroid, so they put her on a supplement, and so I would guess that the thyroid supplement might be a little bit low. If you want to know your thyroid, if you want to know if your thyroid medication is adequate or what your thyroid function is, what you can do is first thing in the morning, before you get out of bed, before you move around, before you go to the bathroom, check your temperature under your armpit. It ought to be about 97.6. Do it for 3 to 5 days. And if you're running in the area of 97.6, then your thyroid medication is probably adequate. If you're running 95.0 or 94.9, which I've had some clients who run that means their thyroid medication does not adequately replace their thyroid function.
Okay. Dr. Justin Anderson, we appreciate it, sir. Very good stuff today on the program. We'll see you back here next Tuesday on the program. Check it out, metaboliccoaching.net, or on Facebook, Cut the Killer Carbs, or our direct number, 448-0322. Lots of good questions today. Have a wonderful rest of the week, Doctor.
Thanks, Wade. And you too, man.
And we look forward to seeing you back here next week on the show. Have a wonderful day. Stick around now. Unconfused coming up next right here on AM 580.